Kailangan mo ba ng formula? Kailangan mo ba ng something? Okay. Oh, okay. And then you have to distinguish between the known and unknown variables, no? May mga cases na merong formula na madaming variables. So for example, ito familiar kayo dito sa formula na 'to. P times B equals nRT, 'di ba? So dito, kailangang i-analyze nyo kung alin dito ang given dun sa problem at kung ano yung nire-require, no? So aling variable ang nire-require, yan. And then you will need to restate the problem in your own words. This helps clarify the problem and ensures you have grasped the main idea, no? Siguro, the best way to restate the problem is to share that to your, say, classmates, no? So, suppose you are solving problems, parang pag ni-restate mo yung problem, at least, you would know each other kung tama yung pagkakaintindi nyo dun sa problem, no? 'Di ba? Baka kasi mamaya may cases na iba yung pagkakaintindi mo dun sa classmate mo o dun sa ibang, ah, kasama mo, 'no? So, it's better to share your understanding of that problem, no? Kasama din sa understanding the problem, I mean the first guideline, yung magdo-draw ka ng, diagram, no, or if you make an illustration. Kasi 'di ba minsan nagbabasa ka na, habang nagbabasa ka nag-i-illustrate ka na. I mean, sinasabayan mo na yung pagbabasa mo and at the same time nagle-label ka na din, 'no? So, I know you're doing that, 'no, lalo ngayon may calculus kayo, 'di ba? 'Yan. And after the step 1 or first, guideline, we now proceed to the second guideline. This is where you devise a plan, 'no? So pagkatapos mong intindihin kung ano yung mga meron dun sa problem, 'no, dito ngayon magpaplano ka, 'no? You are going to think of possible strategies. Anong gagamitin mong solution, 'di ba? So you will consider various approaches such as working backgrounds backwards, looking for a pattern, breaking the problem into smaller parts. So ano pa yung mga approaches, no? Or maybe you would compare that with the problems that is previously solved o yung similar problems that's previously solved, pwede nyo siyang i-compare doon, no? And you will need to choose the most promising strategy. Ano yon, no? Yung strategy that will lead or that most likely lead to a solution. Yung may solution, baka mamaya nakakita kayo ng strategy pero hindi naman solve yung problem, no? And then, relate the problem to similar problems. So I think I mentioned this a while ago, no? Use the insights from previously solved problems that are similar in nature. So baka kasi naalala nyo nung high school kayo merong, "Ay naku naalala ko sinolve yan ng teacher ko." Oo, may notebook ako diyan. 'Di ba? So you can do that, why not? Oo, ha? Minsan yung mga problems paulit-ulit lang yan. Tapos may habang tumataas yung level nagkakaroon ka ng other way to solve it, pero yung previous solution ay nagagamit pa din, 'yan. Carry out the plan, 'no? So, pagkatapos mong ma-determine kung anong klaseng strategies ang gagamitin mo para ma-solve mo siya, o dito i-implement mo na yung chosen strategy mo, 'no? And when you carry out the plan, kailangan mong i-apply ang natutunan mong process sa mathematics, 'no? So yung like algebraic procedures. So, apply the steps of your plan systematically, no? You have to be thorough and patient sa pagsosolve ninyo. Carefully execute each step without rushing. Um, Kailangan kasi ano, hindi ka magkamali or else lalo kang matatagalan sa pag-solve, no? But do not give up. Alam nyo, kahit na professional yung or yung talagang mathematicians, no? Nagtitiyaga talaga yan. Naalala ko may isang time na may isang problem na hindi namin ma-solve. You know, we consulted everyone in the faculty room. And it was just a mathematics problem in the UPCAT, no? UP College entrance exam. Sabi ko, parang hirap naman yan. I think it could not be solved by a high school graduate kasi kami nga hindi rin namin na-solve, no? And so, sa kakaikot nung problem sa aming lahat, no? Na-solve din. Ah, Kaso yung nakasolve ay wala na sa PUP, no? Nag-retire na siya. So, meron lang kaming mga na-overlook. So, ganun lang, no? You have to be patient and 'wag lang mag-give up. If you need to consult yung mga magagaling sa mathematics, then you try to do that, no? Mas okay yon. And then keep track of your work. Document each part of the process to make it easier to review and correct if necessary, no? So dito sa step na 'to, you are supposed to have solved the problem, no? Meron na kayong sagot, okay? Kasi pagdating sa step 4, look back na kayo. So yan. You will look back, no? Magre-review na kayo ng solution niyo. You will check the results, yung nakuha mo sa step 3, to ensure that they make sense and the problem is fully solved. Okay, so baka kasi mamaya may value kayong nakuha, pero it's not consistent with the condition that is stated in the problem, no? So you have to check it also. Reflect on the process, consider what worked well and what didn't, which helps improve future problem solving skills. I know you're doing this, no? Kung nagso-solve kayo ng mga problems lalo ngayon, may calculus kayo. 'Pag nagso-solve kayo ano, haba ng proseso ano, 'di ba? Walang shortcut, 'yan. Pero, ano niyo siya, natatandaan niyo. 'Yan, gano'n talaga 'yun, eh. Ang shortcut ay mag-search online, ayan. But, you know, hindi kayo matututo nung kaka-search online. Kasi ano talaga 'yun, eh, sino-solve 'yun. 'Pag nag-board exam ba kayo, puwede ba kayong mag-search online habang nagbo-board exam? So, siyempre hindi, 'no? Okay, so tiyatiyagain niyo lahat 'yon. And then generalize the solution. Think about how the strategy could be applied to other problems. Now, if you can keep a copy of the solution, that would be better, no? Ako hindi ko makakalimutan na when I was still in college, talaga 'to, nung initial pa na nagtuturo ako, ito ay pinapa-implement ko din, 'no? May notebook kami talaga nun, chine-check ng teacher namin, yung mga prof namin, particularly sa major subjects. And would you know, hanggang ngayon buhay pa yung notebook ko. And that was 1983, 84, 85, no, 82. Yung mga notebooks na yon buhay pa kasi hardbound, yung bound anong tawag dito, yung logbook, yun ang notebook namin. And to think na bitbitin mo lang ang ilang logbooks araw-araw, kakakuba na 'no, pero chine-check kasi ng teacher, that's why we have to bring that logbook every day. And when I was already reviewing my board exam, nagamit ko talaga yung mga problems na tinabi ko do'n, 'no. Yung mga kinompile ko. In fact, 3 of the problems that I reviewed in one of my logbooks, lumabas sa board exam. Oh, yun ay kaya ako sabi ko, "Ay, hindi ako babagsak dito, alam na alam ko na." 'No. Hindi ako magta-top, but, for sure, I will not fail. So yun yung nasabi ko kasi yung mga problems na-solve ko, na-compile ko. Yung problems na sinolve namin nung araw, na-compile ko. Hanggang ngayon buhay pa yang notebook na yan. Well, anyway, just, sharing to you 'no. Now, summarizing the steps that I mentioned 'no, Polya's four-step problem solving strategy, we have understand the problem, devise a plan, carry out the plan, and then review the solution. Okay? Meron bang gustong magtanong before I proceed with an example? Okay? Kung wala, and then here's my first example. This is taken from the Nature of Mathematics 12th edition, Carl J. Smith, page 11. No, ito yung ebook na in-upload ko. No? So, sana binubuksan nyo din yung ebook, ha? Para makita ninyo, may mga problems akong kinuha doon, no? Yung iba sa ibang reference materials. Oo, meron ding mga naimbento, mamaya makikita niyo may mga naimbento akong problems. Okay. So, a jokester tells you that he has a group of cows and chickens and that he counted 13 heads and 36 feet. No? How many cows and chicken does he have? Okay, so considering the first step, ibig sabihin naka-first step na tayo 'no, kasi 'di ba, read the problem. So, understanding the problem and how would you understand that by reading the problem 'no. So, kung babalikan natin yung problem, si jokester daw merong cows and chickens 'no, at nabilang niya na merong 13 heads at merong 36 feet. Pero problema pa rin 'no, ilang cows at saka chicken ang meron siya, 'yan. So madali lang 'to. Pero sabi ni Polya, a good way to make sure you understand a problem is to attempt to phrase it in a simpler setting 'no. So, paano natin siya naintindihan 'no? So dahil merong chicken and cow, puwedeng ganito ang gawin, 'di ba? Para kang nagto-trial 'no. Kung may isang chicken at may isang cow, ilang heads meron yon? Of course, there will be 2 heads and 6 feet. And you might ask, ang galing yung 6 feet, no? Yung chicken kasi may 2 feet at saka yung cow ay merong 4 feet. Kaya pag inad mo, 6 feet yon. Okay? But at least you have the idea, no? Na kung ganito ang gagawin mo. Paano kung dalawa yung chickens? Tapos isang cow lang. So there will be 3 heads and 8 feet, 'di ba? So in short, if you're going to phrase it in simpler setting as this one, siguro naman makakaisip kayo ng mas maayos na procedure para ito ay ma-organize, no? It can be organized better. Okay? So I think we can now proceed to the second step 'no, ito yung devising a plan. Okay, so, i-o-organize natin yung materials natin and for those particular data, ang pinakamaayos na pag-o-organize niya is to use a table 'no, table as shown here, 'yan. So meron siyang column for number of chickens, number of cows, number of heads, saka number of feet. So this will actually give us the information that we need, no? And we can, initially, pwede tayong magkaroon ng mga trials like this one and observe what's happening to the data, no? So, halimbawa, Sa first column, sa first row, meron tayong 1 chicken. Pero 12 yung cows. Bakit kaya? No? Kasi nire-require do sa problem yung 13 heads. I mean, the given in the problem is 13 heads. No? So, at ilan ngayon yung feet? 50. No? This is the computation. What if we increase the number of chickens? No, gawin natin siyang 2. E di ibababa natin yung number of cows, i-deduct natin yung 1 na dinagdag natin sa chicken, no? Kasi kailangan nating i-fix yung number of heads into 13. This will now produce a number of feet that is 48. Now, if we continue doing this, no, procedure in this table, sa fourth row, we could see that the number of chickens ay 4, the number of cows ay 9, of course, 13 ang heads. This time, the number of feet is 44. Meron ba tayong nakikita na pattern? May na-observe ba tayo na sa table? Okay? So, di ba makikita ninyo na habang nag-i-increase yung number of chickens, by 1, nagde-decrease din ang number of cows by 1. Pero yung number of feet, nagde-decrease din by 2s naman. O, 'di ba? So, baka meron na tayong puwedeng i-shortcut, 'no, based on our observation dito sa pattern, 'no. So, ito ay ano pa lang 'no, step 2. And so what are we going to do with this initial process, 'no? Anong gagawin natin? Okay, pwede na tayong magpunta sa step 3, 'no? Knowing that there should be 36 feet na nire-require ng problem, kaso dito sa table ay meron tayong 44. Now, instead of adding additional columns or rows pala, dito sa table 'no, puwede tayong mag-shortcut. Ayan, we can subtract 36 from 44 which will yield 8. And what that means 'no, that means that, we need 8 chickens. So from the initial na 4 chickens dito, magdadagdag tayo ng 4 to make it 8. But remember, the number of heads is fixed, so the number of cows should be 5. This time, we obtain the correct number of feet, no? Okay, so ito pa lang yung step 3, no? Pero may sagot na tayo. Pagdating ng step 4, ido-double check na natin siya, no? Review or look back. Ayan, so yung bang 8 chickens and 5 cows ay merong total na 13 heads. So, i-add uli natin, no? At yung bang 36 feet, 36 feet ba talaga ang makukuha when there are 8 chickens and 5 cows? 'Di ba? So, this is one way of checking. Sorry ha. Excuse me pa. Okay, so in short, si Jokester ay merong 8 chickens and 5 cows. Meron bang gustong magtanong? Now, if you have a better solution to this, wala ding problema, no? Actually, may mga cases where the 4 steps are overlapping. Sometimes, nagbabasa ka pa lang ng problem. So, I know you have experienced it, no? Habang nagbabasa ng problems, nagso-solve na, dumidiretso na sa solving problems, no? O kaya, alam na kaagad kung ano ang gagawin. So, nag-o-overlap yung step 1 and step 2. Tapos yung step 2, nagde-design ka pa lang ng plano mo, pero dumidiretso ka na nga sa step 3, 'no? So, walang problema yon, 'no? Papunta talaga dun yung solution. Okay, any question? Charisma Venturero.
None po.
None. Okay? Oh, thank you. Let's proceed to the second problem, no? Oo, baka mamaya sabihin niyo, "Si ma'am ang dali naman na ang ano, example." Ang purpose lang talaga dito is for us to, use the Polya's problem-solving strategy, no? Okay, so ito yung pangalawang example. Twice the difference of a number and 1 is 4 more than that number. Find the number. Okay, so naka-step 1 na tayo 'no, 'di ba? Habang binabasa natin, we are understanding the problem. And take note that in the problem, 3 beses nag-appear yung number, 'yan, yung word na number sa problem 'no. So, I think we have to do something about that number 'no, by assuming a certain variable to represent it. So, we let x be the number. And then yung X na yun ang gagamitin natin so that we can devise a plan, Okay, so paano natin iso-solve yun? By translating the problem into a mathematical statement, okay? And kung nahihirapan yung iba kasi talaga sa totoo lang 'no, nakita ko yan sa mga ibang students ko, na experience I mean, yung pagta-translate ng problem in mathematical symbols nahihirapan, okay? So 'pag gano'n, isa-isahin niyo lang. Try with the simplest statement, difference of a number and 1, 'no? So ito 'yon. So since x yung number and the statement is difference of a number, so ibig sabihin tsaka nung 1, ibig sabihin x minus 1 'yon, okay? Now, i-add niyo na yung ano, yung twice the. So, twice the difference of a number and 1 is 2 times yung x minus 1. Another statement is 4 more than that number or x plus 4. Okay? So, our final equation as stated in example 2 ay 2 times x minus 1 is equal to x plus 4. So, we now have an equation, no? So, what shall we do with this equation? Okay, so puwede na tayong pumunta sa step 3, carry out the plan. Okay, so para na ma-solve natin yung number na hinahanap dito which is x 'no, we have to use algebraic procedures, okay? And the first step is by using distributive properties of multiplication 'no. I hope you still remember this, over addition. So i-di-distribute niyo lang. Ayan, so when you distribute, it means multiplication, 'di ba? So 2x minus 2 equals x plus 4. And then since you are solving for x, then you will need to collect all the terms with x, maybe at the left side, no? And all the constants to the right side. Ayan, para na i-separate na natin silang dalawa. And remember that procedure is transposition, no? And opposing terms from the opposite side to the other from a side to the opposite side, don't forget that those terms needs to be changed, the sign, no, its sign. So from positive to negative and then from negative to positive. So we came up with this 2x, wait lang, 2x minus x is equal to 4 plus 2. So, 2x minus x is x, and 4 plus 2 is 6. Ayan. So, may sagot na, no? So, but we still have the fourth step. Look back. Ayan. By substituting x equals to 6 to the equation 2 times x minus 1 equals to x plus 4, no? All right. We now have an equation na equal ang left side to sa right side. And therefore, the final answer The number being asked in the problem, x equals to 6. Alam niyo medyo nadi-distract ako. Nadidinig ko kasi nag-uusap do'n sa ground floor. Question. Okay,
Wala
let's
po.
proceed, 'no? Ang dali lang naman. Oo, kasi thank you. Ang pinag-uusapan kasi yung proseso, 'no? Hindi hindi naman 'to naiiba do'n sa proseso ng ano, na ginamit ninyo sa pagso-solve ng physics, chemistry at saka calculus. So, yan ang mga ano niyo ngayon, subjects niyo ngayon. Okay, so, another example. The length of a rectangular lot is 1 meter more than 3 times the width. Find the dimensions if the perimeter is to be 26 meters, 'no? Okay, so binasa na natin, 'no, and, in the problem na-mention na yung length, yung ano pa, width, 'no, the width at saka yung perimeter, okay? So, kung naintindihan natin ang problem, then you would know that, kailangan nating i-represent yung length, width at saka yung perimeter, 'no, sa symbols. Okay? So, or a variable. So, we let L be the length of the rectangular lot, W be the width of the rectangular lot, and P be the perimeter of the rectangular lots. Ayan. Okay, and also it's stated in the problem that P is 26 and the condition that the length of the rectangular lot is 1 meter more than 3 times the width. No? In symbols, L is 1 plus 3W. Okay, so we now devise a plan. Okay. Itong may illustration dito, no? But, if it's a rectangular lot, pwede nang dito na din magsimula ng illustration sa step 1. No? Remember the Polya's strategy number 1. Okay? So, kung hindi nagawa iyon sa step 1, it can be done in step 2, devising a plan. So, ito na yung nag-draw ka gumawa ka ng illustration ng rectangle, nag-label ka, ayan, 'no? And then, dahil perimeter ang pinag-uusapan, ang isa sa pinag-uusapan, 'no, i-recall natin how the perimeter is being measured, okay? So, naalala niyo ba generally ano ang formula for finding the perimeter? General formula. I mean, when it's a general formula for perimeter, it means it is not only applicable for rectangle, no? Pwede rin siya sa octagon or polygons, 'di ba? So anyone who can state the formula for the perimeter? Hello, children. General formula lang. Wala nang gusto sumagot. Hello? Oh, no, I'm thinking of a general formula, not the formula for mali din 'tong formula mo, Mr. Briones. Mm. Ah, when you talk about perimeter, hindi naman ito actually agad ang bibigay na formula, Ano dapat ang formula? General formula for perimeter. Anyone? Kalimutan na. Hoy, mga engineering students kayo, o tinatamad kayong sumagot. Oh, that's correct, Mr. Barcelona. Just the sum of all sides, not 4s, of a shape. Okay. So, pati yung pag-state nung sum of all sides, okay? Yung perimeter is obtained by adding all the length of the sides of any polygon, no? And when you say polygon, triangle, quadrilaterals, 'di ba? Pentagon, octagon, nonagon. So, polygons 'yon. And whether that polygons are irregular or regular polygons, the perimeter is obtained by adding the length of the sides. So it's the sum of all the sides of the polygons, or the sum of all the length of the sides. That's a general formula, no? Okay, so nagkataon lang na itong sample problem ko is rectangle. Okay? So kaya pag in-add natin yung length ng sides na 'to, dalawa yung length niya at saka dalawa din yung width, 'no? Oh, 'di ba? Tapos yung na formula that is presented here is a, simplified form, 'no, by factoring out 2. So finactor out yung 2 so that the perimeter is now 2 times the sum of the length and the width. Yan. Okay. Now, but yung length is 1 plus 3W, so you can substitute to this perimeter, no? And also the value of the perimeter is also given, so we can substitute it. And then simplifying, this will lead to a 2 times 1 plus 4W. O, ayan na, no? So, ito yung magiging uh, final equation natin that will need to be considered for step 3. Yan. So, ito na yung carry out the plan. So, gagamit ulit tayo ng algebraic procedures. So, i-distribute natin yung 2 sa 1 plus 4W. Magiging 2 plus 8W. Magta-transposition ulit tayo. Yung 26 na punta sa right side. Yung 2 ay na-retain. Yung 8W nasa kaliwa, no? In short, 8W is 24. Dividing 24 by 8 to obtain 3 meters. W, which is 3 meters. And substituting W to L equals to 10 meters. Now we have the length, which is 10 meters, and the width, which is 3 meters. Okay, and then that's the end of step 3, no? Look back na tayo. Yan. We proceed by checking our solution and the values that we obtained by substituting it to the perimeter, no? So P is equal to 2 times the length, which is 10, and the plus the width, which is 3, or 26 meters. Okay, so how do we know that the length and the width that we obtained is correct? Ano yung basehan natin para sabihin nating tama siya? Kasi meron na akong ditong dimension na, I mean, final answer, no? The dimension of the rectangular lot is 10 meters by 3 meters. So, ano yung basehan natin para malaman natin na ang perimeter ay perimeter. Ang length at saka width ay tama, no? Yung nakuha natin. O, pwedeng i-chat. Chat nyo. So, hindi ba kasi, hindi tayo basta yung 'pag naka-obtain na tayo ng values, maniniwala na baka agad tayo doon, 'no? 'Di ba, ido-double check pa natin siya, ilo-look back pa natin siya, 'no, 'di ba? Oo, yun kasi yung sabi ni Polya, look back daw, eh. Sa atin review lang, eh. But look back is review the solution, 'no? Okay, so same sa given value of P, which is 26. That's correct, Francen, no? Okay, so dahil yung 26 meters na perimeter, ito yung given actually, and it is consistent with when we use the length na 10 meters saka W is 3 meters. So, yun na, no? Okay, thank you for that answer. Now, I have here another problem. A true-false quiz contains 5 questions. In how many ways can a student answer the question if the student answers 2 of the questions with false and the other 3 with true, no? Oh, ayan. So, binasa ko, no? And I hope you also have read the problem, no? Tapos ay habang binabasa, we are trying to understand it, no? So sabi do sa problem, meron daw 5 questions, no? Na which can be answered by true or false, no? Kaso, ang problem, how many ways can a student answer the questions with 2 false, dalawa tama ba? And 3 true. Yan, 3 true. Na natataranta yung bibig ko sa 2 false saka 3 true. So, in short, ilang ways can a student arrange yung sagot niya na merong 3 false and 2 false and 3 true answers. Yan, no? Okay, so pwedeng ganito yon, no? Pwedeng ganito yung unang arrangement. Yung first 3 questions ay true at yung last 2 questions ay false. Or pwede rin namang i-arrange ng 2 false, the first 2 questions ay false at yung last 3 questions ay true, no? But this is our initial understanding of the problem, no? And I think we need to organize this information. Okay, so we devise a plan. Yan. So, i-organize natin by trying the strategy of listing a T. T muna. O, echepuera muna yung F. Okay, so yun yung plan, no? Carry out the plan. So, we start by listing 3 T's in a row. That's the first arrangement. And then, in the second arrangement, yung nasa second row, no? Ito yung questions natin, 5 questions, yan. So, dilipat natin yung isa. O, ayan, palipat-lipat. Okay. In short, nag-arrange tayo ng 3 T's in every row na walang kaparehas, no, na arrangement, no? So, dapat walang naulit na pattern. Ayan, okay? So, after 10 arrangement, napansin ko wala na akong magawang arrangement pa, no? So, hindi ko na siya madugtungan. Sabihin, kumpleto na yung arrangement na nagawa ko. Yan. Okay? And so, it's about time that we fit in the F. F, ayan na. So, naka-fit na siya. Okay? So, finish na to, no? But we need to review. Okay, so each entry in the list has 2 Fs and 3 Ts. Yun yung nasa condition ng problem, no? And since the list is complete and has no duplications, we know that there are 10 ways for a student to mark 2 questions with false and the other 3 with true. Okay, so there are really 10 ways. Oh, pero baka may naisip pa kayong isang combinations. Pwedeng dagdagan to kung meron akong hindi nailista, no? Okay? So much about the Polya's problem-solving strategy in your book. Instructional materials, yung PDF copy, madami doong Polya's problem-solving examples, no? Nakakaumay lang kasi i-discuss. Tsaka kayo din baka naiinip kayo sobrang dami, no? So basahin niyo na lang, just, browse it so that, you can be guided on the use of Polya's, problem solving strategy, no? Anyway, that strategy is really not really very different from the process na natutunan niyo sa pag-solve ng physics, chemistry at tsaka ano, mathematics 'no. Parang hindi naman siya masyadong malayo kasi ang Polya strategy kasi general, eh, 'no. So, general procedure. Okay, so we now proceed to reasoning. Alright, sa reasoning ito ay, ah, process of thinking during which the individual is aware of a problem, identifies, evaluates, and decides upon a solution, no? So, I'm sure almost every day nakaka-experience kayo ng paggamit ng reasoning, no? Yung halimbawa, yung sa bahay, no? Nakita niyo yung gripo niyo sa lababo 'no, tulo ng tulo ng tulo ng tulo, ayan. O alam ka namang pabayaan mo 'yun 'no, 'di siyempre titingnan mo siya, okey? At, iche-check mo, i-evaluate mo what's causing that continuous na flow ng water. Okay, so isasara mo siya pero tumutulo pa din, 'no, o kaya hihigpitan mo tumutulo pa din, 'no. So in short, you will try to evaluate, 'no, kung ano ang nagko-cause ng kaniyang, yung pag continuous, flowing of water, 'no. So, after mo siyang ma-evaluate, ma-identify mo na siya, 'no, okey. Tapos ikaw ay magsa-suggest ng possible solution, 'di ba? So, puwedeng sabihin mo sa mother mo o sa father mo, "O bili na lang tayo ng bago, okey? Kasi kailangan palitan na siya." 'Di ba? O kaya naman ay you will suggest to call a plumber. But then you have based your decision to, that, to solve the problem 'no, based dun sa kung paano mo in-evaluate tsaka na-identify yung problem 'no. Okay, so yun ay isa lamang sa mga problem, pero araw-araw meron, maya-maya. Okay, and, sa totoo lang ay every time na may problema 'no, nag-iisip gano'n kung paano mo siya maso-solve. Okay, so reasoning is a highly specialized thinking which helps an individual to explore mentally the cause and effect of an event or solution of a problem by adapting some well-organized systematic steps based on previous experience combined with present observation. Siguro na-experience niyo na yung sasabihin niyo, eh, ano, eh, dati ganito lang yung ginawa ko na-solve ko yun, eh, 'di ba? Yung mga gano'n. Okey. Tapos parang ngayon ay hindi na siya applicable kasi may bago na, may nadagdag dun sa problem 'no. So may mga ganong reasoning 'di ba? Yung previous experience mo ay ginagamit mo to be able to solve that current, problem or situation. Now there are two types of reasoning. Merong inductive tsaka deductive reasoning. Yung inductive reasoning is a type of reasoning done first by observing patterns and then predicting answers for more complicated problems, no? It's a process of reaching a general conclusion by examining specific examples. And the conclusion formed using inductive reasoning is called conjecture, since it may or may not be correct. Okay, so ito yung makikita niyo yung mga, you will, notice that there are specific premises or specific situations, tapos sa conclusion, naka-generalize na siya, no? Kaso may limitations ang inductive reasoning, no? Even if all the premises are true in a statement, inductive reasoning allows for the conclusion to be false. Yan. So, there are cases na tama naman yung premises, pero yung conclusion nagiging false siya. Oh, titingnan natin yung situation na yan mamaya. Yan. I have here some example ng inductive reasoning, no? When I went to the store last week, I forgot my purse, no? And then when I went to the store today, I forgot my purse. Ayan. So ano kayo ng conclusion mo? I always forget my purse when I go to the store or whenever I go to the store. Ayan. So this is actually an example of inductive reasoning because the premises are very specific or they are specific instances. Tapos yung conclusion ay naka-general na or generalized na siya. More example. Every day for the past year, a plane flies over my house at 2 p.m. No? So this is your observation. No? Merong palaging dumadaang eroplano sa taas at 2 p.m. No? So siguro malapit ito sa airport. Okay? So pwede na mag-conclude eh. So a plane will fly over my house every day at 2 p.m. 'Di ba? So example to ng inductive reasoning. Yan. More examples. Ito yung premise or premises. All electronic devices are useful. My cell phone is an electronic device. So ano ngayon ang conclusion mo? My cell phone is useful. Okay, so naka-generalize na, 'di ba? Okay. A conjecture is actually the conclusion of inductive reasoning, no? And it's a mathematical statement which appears likely to be true but has not been formally proven to be true under the rules of mathematical logic. It is the concluding statement based on reasoning. And to verify our conjecture is true, you need to prove that it is true in all cases. And to prove that it is false, you need to provide one single counterexample. No? Okay, so later we will have a separate discussion about counterexample. No? So focus muna tayo sa conjecture. I-observe natin yung conjecture ng following statements. No? Okay, so ito yung premise. First premise, dogs A and B have fleas. Okay, and then second premise, all observed dogs have fleas. Okay, so because of these two statements or premises, this is now the conclusion. So therefore, all dogs have fleas. Okay, so we could see that the first two premises could be a true statements, no? Pero yung conjecture na nagawa ay false. The conjecture made from it is false. 'Di ba? Puwede ba nating sabihin na after these two premises ay merong all dogs ay may fleas na? Okay, so this is an example of a conjecture that yung limitations ng inductive reasoning, no? Na possible na true, possible na false siya. Okay? All right. So another example. All dolphins are mammals. Okay, we can say it's true, no? All mammals have kidneys. Siyempre naman, true yan, no? So, gawa ng conclusion, no? So, therefore, all dolphins have kidneys. Okay? Dito, teka, lolobat ako. Nasaan na yung saksakan? All right. So take note that the two premises are true and that actually lead to a true conjecture, no? So true pati yung conjecture. Yan. Ay, ano nangyari? Asan ba ako? Ah. Okay, ito na. Both A are B. This C is A. Therefore, C is likely B. Here, the statements can be considered true. That leads to a true conjecture. Ayan. Another, Rodrigo is mortal. Lenny is mortal. Donald is mortal. No? So, therefore, all human beings are mortal. So, ito din, example to ng na true yung lahat ng premises tapos yung it leads to a true conjecture. Yeah. Okay, but not this one, no? Ito, analyze nyo. Harold is grandfather. Harold is bald. Oh, ito yung conclusion. Therefore, all grandfathers are bald. So, it made a false conjecture. Okay, so again, this is one of the limitations ng inductive reasoning. Okay, so another example, use inductive reasoning to predict the next number in the following. Okay, so how would you answer this? I want you to answer this by raising your hand. Sinong gusto mag-solve ng A? Madali lang yan. Hello? Hello? Raise your hand. Yes, Gabriel. Mr.
Um,
Gabriel.
yung susunod po na
Mhm.
number is 30 po. Increment of 5 po kasi yung pag-increase niya po.
Okay. So, na-observe mo na ang may pattern siya, no? Yung mga numbers dito sa sequence. And sabi mo, increment of 5. Okay? So, tama yun, no? At kaya mo na-predict na 30 yung kasunod. Okay, so ang ginawa mong proseso ay inductive reasoning, no? Nag-observe ka ng pattern, saka ka nag-predict ng next number. How about letter B? Red, Francen Venice.
Yung next number po is 21 since yung number po is increasing po. Like 2,
Mm.
3, 4, 5. So, yung next na i-add po sa 15 is 6 to become it 21.
Mhm, okay. So na-observe mo na ang difference sa sequence ng bawat number in the sequence is increasing by 1, no? Nag-i-increase by 1. Kaya na itong 21 ang sumunod na number after 15. Again, what you did is inductive reasoning, no? Nag-observe ka ng patterns sa sequence of numbers and then you have predicted the next number. Thank you. Okay, another problem. Pick a number. Okay, you can actually pick your own number. Multiply the number by 9, add 15 to the product, divide the sum by 3, and subtract 5. Now, complete this procedure for several different numbers and then use inductive reasoning to make a conjecture about the relationship between the size of the resulting number and the size of the original number, no? Okay, so I have picked the number 5. Okay, so we will follow the procedure. Multiply by 9, 45. Add 15, so naging 60, divide by 3, naging 20, and then I have subtracted 5, so naging 15. So the resulting number is 15, and we are supposed to compare that with the number that I pick, no, o yung original number. But let me show you another example para magkaroon tayo ng common na generalization, no, for this. Okay, so this is my another example. I have pick 7 multiplied by 9 is 63, add 15 is 78, divided by 3 is 26, and I have subtracted 5, 21. So the number that I obtained is 21. Okay, so here's the numbers that we are going to analyze, no? Yung kanilang relationship or comparison. So yung 5 at saka 15 being the original number and the resulting number, yung 7 at saka yung 21. Anong pwede nating ma-observe sa kanilang dalawang pairs ng number na to? Can you, yes, they are multiplied by 3. Okay, so I have seen it. Thank you. Oo. So, ibig sabihin, yung resulting number is actually 3 times the original number. No? 'Di ba? So, ito yung ating conjecture. After applying the procedure stated in the problem to the peak numbers 5 and 7, no? The resulting numbers always yield a number which is 3 times the original or the peak number. So, ibig sabihin, pag magsasagot kayo ng mga ganitong problems ko, medyo kompletohin lang, no? Para maganda yung inyong conjecture. Yan. Okay, another. Tsunami is a sea wave produced by an underwater earthquake. The height of a tsunami as it approaches land depends on the velocity of the tsunami. Use the table that follows and inductive reasoning to answer the following question. So let me first show the table, no? Ito yung table. This is the first column is the velocity of the tsunami in feet per second, while the second column is the height of the tsunami in feet. Yan. So let me show you some of the data, no? Like when the velocity of the tsunami is 6 feet per second, ang height niya ay 4 feet. When the velocity is 15 feet per second, ang height ng tsunami ay 25 feet. Pag 24 yung velocity, feet per second, the height of the tsunami is 8 feet. May nakikita ba kayong 64 feet, sorry. May nakikita ba kayong pattern? Okay, so ito yung question. What happens to the height of the tsunami when its velocity is doubled? Yan, so ano ang nakikita ninyong meron dito sa table? Na pwedeng makasagot do sa problem. Yes, Francine, Venice, Red.
When the velocity of tsunami is doubled po, yung height of tsunami is multiplied by 4.
Can you cite an example for that?
For example po, 6 yung velocity of tsunami. And then, if you doubled it, magiging 12. So, if 4 po yung height ng velocity of 6, magiging 16 po siya since 4 times 4. And similarly po, pag dinouble mo yung 12, magiging 24. 16 times 4 is 64 po.
Okay, that's a very good explanation. Okay, so hindi ko na to uulitin ha, malinaw ang pagkakasabi niya. Ayan. Okay, so may letter B na tayo. What should be the height of a tsunami if its velocity is 30 feet per second? Okay, so in short, ay magkakaroon tayo ng additional row. Ayan. Oo, maglalagay ako ng isa pang row para sa velocity na ano nga ulit, 30 feet per second. Biglang hindi maalala, eh, 'no? Ayan. So, ano daw ang height ng tsunami na mapo-form? Yes, Miss Red ay 100. Who has the correct answer? Sige, i-check natin. Okay, yung kanina pala 'no, when velocity is double, the height increases by a factor of 4. Tama ka din, Barcelona. So okay. Miss Red is 100 ang kanya, Lilo 100, Tinawin 100, Briones 100. Okay, so how did you obtain the 100? What did you do? Oh, 100 siya dito, gumamit ng okay, 25 times 4 'no? Dahil yung 15 ay double, when you double it is 30. So ginamit niyo yung concept kanina do sa letter A para ma-solve ninyo yung question sa letter B. Okay, thank you for your answers. Okay. I have here, I think one last problem bago dun sa next topic, no? Which box is next in the sequence? So there are 5 boxes here at bawat box ay merong dark circle, white circle at saka striped square. Meron ding arrow, pero yung arrow naman ay naka-fix na, hindi na siya gumagalaw. Tapos ay ito yung mga choices. So alin dito ang susunod na box? No, is it A, B, C, D or E? Kaya lang may sagot ako, no? The question is, why is my answer E? Can you help me explain that? Ay, sorry. Parang uubuhin ako. Nangangati ang lalamunan ko eh. So dito kasi sa problem na to, you will have to consider 3 ang tawag geometric figures inside the box, no? Patay ako. Hindi ako makaka-lecture. Ayan. Plaza, Nikki. Eliza, Iha.
Ma'am, hello po.
Yeah, I can
So,
hear you.
siguro po si E po yung sagot din kasi po yung black dot sa left corner po, clockwise po yung direction niya. So like if siya maglilipat po siya from corner to corner. Ganun po yung niya pagkakasunod. Tapos yung box yung
So ito yung
naman po,
tama. Kaso may D pa din na tama.
yung E po ma'am.
Okay.
Yung explanation po yung sa E. So parang if po kasi ang nagkaroon lang po ng magkakaroon po ng kaguluhan sa iba po if hindi po nila na-consider yung box po na stripe. So po yung box po kasi na stripe na nasa gitna po, po kasi siya, parang yung pattern niya po, medyo tawag nito, confusing po if hindi po maano ng maayos. So parang ang nangyari po kasi, yung box po na stripe napunta po from middle po, middle ng lower middle po, napunta po siya sa upper left, then napunta from upper left, napunta po siya sa middle. middle ano po, middle side. Tapos naman po napunta naman sa right, left pala po,
Left.
left corner po, sa left corner. Then napunta naman po yung box sa gitna. Then, so from there po, since middle po, parang middle to corner po yung ano niya, pattern po niya. Next naman po na ano, is sa ano, lower right naman po. So parang mako-cover naman po yung ano po, yung black dot na clockwise naman po yung direction po.
Okay.
So ayun po, ma'am.
So, ibig sabihin dito rin sa iyong ano,
Opo, ma'am.
yung circle,
Yung black
andito
dot
siya,
po. Yes po.
na tabunan. Okay? Alright, madaya 'tong problem na 'to, eh. O sige, meron pang isa, yung circle na
Ay, ma'am, yung circle po po. Opo.
yung white,
Yung white naman po, ang kanyang ano naman po, pa-clockwise naman din po.
clockwise?
Yes po, ma'am,
Oo, yeah,
clockwise po.
clockwise.
So, parang from upper right to middle, then middle to right corner, lower right corner, then paano po siya? Parang if 3 po yung dots na nasa corner, from upper to lower corner, isang dot lang po yung ano niya, yung movement niya po. Ayun po.
Okay. So, linawin natin yung iyong explanation, 'no? Yung etong black circle na 'to ay you can find it sa upper left tsaka lower right. So, parang gano'n ang movement, upper left, lower right corner, 'no? Upper left, lower right corner. So, kaya dito siya dapat. Kaso ang tama ay D, 'yan, tsaka A pala, 'yan. Tapos, you said that itong stripe ay na square ay nagmo-move siya from the middle to the corner, 'no? Puwede ba siya ng L shape, 'no? L shape din, eh, oh. Puwedeng pa-L shape yung movement niya in clockwise manner, 'no, pa-L shape. O kaya if you would refer to the length of the sides, 'no, yung side nito puwedeng 1 unit. So, dahil nasa gitna siya, 1.5. So, that square is moving 1.5 of the length of the sides in clockwise direction, para mas clear yung explanation. So, 1.5 ng length ng sides, 'yan. Okay? Kaya nakarating siya dito sa position na 'to, tsaka 'to, 'yan, okay? And, the circle, the white circle is moving clockwise also. Tama yung sinabi mo na kalahati, 'no? Kalahati nung length ng side. So, you could have used that, sa square din sana kanina, yung term na yon. So, clockwise manner din siya. So, kalahati hanggang sa makarating siya dito. So, yung A kasi tama itong position ng dalawa pero mali ito, 'no? Ito namang, B ang tama, ito lang, 'yan. 'Pag sa C walang tama, ano? Tapos sa D ang tama lang itong, circle na block, okay? Yung E kasi, dahil dalawa yung figure na nandoon, nagpatong, 'no? Kaya alam niyo may gano'ng problem, ha? Sa abstract math 'to, 'di ba? So, ayan, natabunan yung dark circle, ay natabunan siya ng stripe. Pero kaya lang mali yung illustration, 'no? Dapat medyo darker siya do'n. But anyway, yun talaga yung purpose nun, 'no, 'di ba? Tinitingnan niya kung nag-iisip tayo, ayan. Kasi kung nilagyan niya 'to ng dark circle, alam na natin ang sagot, 'yan, 'di ba? Okay, so the final answer is E. That is the, um, again, we have used inductive reasoning to give the final answer E. Okay, Let's proceed to a counterexample. Nasa inductive reasoning pa rin tayo, no? But a counterexample is actually a statement, or ito na, basahin ko na lang. So gusto ko sanang explain in my own words. So an argument or a proposition which shows that the argument can have true premises and a false conclusion. No? So it is an example that, wait lang, that proves a conjecture is false. No? All it takes is one example or one single counterexample to disprove the conjecture. So ito ay statement din na which will make the conjecture false. No? For example, all prime numbers are odd. O, ayan. No? So, do you think this conjecture is true? All prime numbers are odd. Now, if it is not true, then you will have to cite a counterexample. Okay, so what do you think? All prime numbers are odd. So, ano yung statement that will make it false? Or can you find a statement that will make it false? Anyone? Pwedeng i-chat. O, sige, tinawin. John Rado.
Example po, ma'am, is 15 po.
Hmm?
15 is an odd
Ah.
number po, but it is composite.
Okay. All prime numbers are odd, but okay. It's a composite. Bigla ko napaisip do sa sinabi mo. Okay. But hindi kasi well, we are just talking about prime numbers. And if you are going to analyze all the prime numbers, they are actually odd, no? Pero may sagot dito, oh. I-check natin yung mga sagot nila. 2 is an example of prime number. Pero hindi siya odd, no? 'Di ba? But it is even. Okay? All odd numbers are prime numbers, but not all prime numbers are odd. Well, that's another statement. Okay, so what we are only looking for is a statement that will make this statement false, no? Okay, so this is a conjecture and it is false, and the statement that will make it false is this one. No? The prime number 2 is a counterexample. 'Di ba? Kasi even siya eh. 'Di ba? 2 is an example of prime number, sabi ni Caranto. And it is even. Okay? So remember that. Now, there's another statement, conjecture. If God exists, then life has meaning. No? Well, sa dami-dami ng naniniwalang may God, no? For sure, meron diyang isang kahit nag-iisa lang, 'di ba? Isa lang kasi ang kailangan natin eh. All it takes is one example or one single counter-example to disprove the conjecture. So, ito yung conjecture, yung counter-example. But there is no God, therefore life is meaningless. And let's have more. Identify which of the following numbers is a counterexample. Alam nyo ba? If you can see my eyeglass, wala siyang handle. Iniipit ko lang siya na kaya ang ano ko ayun na ano tawag diyan? Naputol. And right after our class, ako ay tatakbo sa EO. EO ko 'to pinagawa eh. At ipapa-repair ko siya, wala akong magamit, no. I have another eyeglass, kaya lang This one is, ang tawag dito, parehas sila, no? Kaya lang ito ay, anong tawag doon? May doble vista. Simula ng pinagawa ko 'to, hindi ko siya nagamit. Kasi hindi pala ako sanay gumamit ng doble vista, nahihilo ako. So, ayan na 'no. So, ito yung aking gamay. Kaya baka mapansin niyo kasi na putol, oh. Iniipit ko lang ng aking ano, ng aking headband, head headset. O continue na 'no. Naaasiwa kasi ako dito sa aking itsura, eh. Okay, so identify which of the following numbers is a counterexample for the conjecture, no? Ito ang conjecture. The domain F is the set of all positive real numbers. F of x equals to 1 over the square root of x minus 3. So ito yung conjecture, no? Set of all positive real numbers. Okay? For this particular function, so which of these x equals to 5, x equals to 6, or x equals to 3 is a counterexample? In short, which of those three will make the conjecture false? So, ang tawag natin doon, counterexample. No? So, may sagot? C, no? Okay. Let's see. Bakit C? Oy, ang dami ng sagot. Okay. C kasi ay kapag sinubstitute natin ay magkakaroon ng 1 over 0, no? 'Di ba? Kaya undefined. Okay, so in short, the domain F is the set of all positive real numbers is false, no? For this particular function, when x is equal to 3. Pero true siya when x is equals to 5, tsaka when x equals to 6. Okay, so dapat, kung gusto nating itama itong statement na to, no? Para wala tayong counterexample, gawin natin siyang the domain F is the set of all positive real numbers, f of x equals to 1 over square root of x minus 3, except x is equal to 3. Or the set of all positive real numbers except 3. Yan. So, lagyan nyo ng exception to the rule. Ayan. Which of the following, which numbers are not counterexamples for the following statement? So, kanina, hinahanap natin counterexample, no? Ngayon, ang hahanapin natin, not counterexample. Uy, may sagot na. D. Okay. So, tama ang mga sagot. I-acknowledge natin si Legazpi tsaka si Caranto, no? Yung kanina din, si Caranto, Legazpi, Briones. Okay, so, i-check natin why, no? Kasi yung A over B, meaning 8, sa letter A, 8 divided by 4. Eh, dito yun. No? Kaso yung A minus B, 8 minus 4. So, they're not equal. Sa letter C, 6 divided by 3 is 2. Kaso, yung 6 minus 3 is not 2, no? Is not, so 3 siya. Okay, 10 divided by 5 is 2 sa letter B and is not equal to 10 minus 5. But, in letter D, 4 divided by 2 is 2 and 4 minus 2 is 2. So, ang only, ang tawag dito, ang only choice here that is not a counterexample is letter T. Yan. Okay, so take note that one counterexample is enough to prove that a line of reasoning is false, but one positive example is never enough to prove that it is true. Okay? So, yun lang, no? Reminder sa inyo to para kung halimbawa, kailangan yung i-analyze kung itong conjecture na to ay true, no? Well, you have to find a counterexample para masabi ninyong true talaga siya. No? Kung wala kayong makitang counterexample, then that statement is really true. Okay, any question about inductive reasoning? Wala bang tanong? So we now proceed to deductive reasoning, no? Alam mo, talagang right after our class ako ay tatakbo na asiwang-asiwa na ako dito kasi kagabi ito nasira eh. Thank you. So deductive reasoning na tayo. Is a basic form of valid reasoning. Starts out with general statement or hypothesis and examines the possibilities to reach a specific and logical conclusion. So kabaliktaran to ng inductive reasoning eh. So, galing siya sa premises na general, no? General in form, no? Like general hypothesis or general statement. Tapos, yung kanyang conclusion ay a specific statement. No? Now, it follows the following steps. First, there is a premise, then a second premise, and finally an inference. So, gano'n naman ang usual, no? Kahit inductive reasoning, no, may dalawang premises. Pero in some cases, isa lang. In some cases, may tatlong premises. Okay? A common form of deductive reasoning is called syllogism. So we have a separate discussion about syllogism a little later. So just like inductive reasoning, meron din siyang limitations, no? The conclusions of deductive reasoning can only be true if all the premises set in the inductive study are true and the terms are clear. So anong kaibahan, no? Dun sa inductive reasoning, possible na maging false kahit true yung premises, di ba? Possible na maging false yung conclusion. Pero dito sa deductive reasoning, basta walang mali yung walang false doon sa premises, no? And the terms are clear, sabi nga, no? Very sure na ang kanyang conclusion ay true also. Yan. So, ito na. Well, we may also describe a deductive reasoning or argument as valid, no? That is when both the premises are true and the conclusion that is derived from them cannot be false. So, valid siya. No? Now, if the conclusion is incorrect, check this one, then one of the premises must be faulty or true only for a specific situation, no? Which is not applicable to all situations. Ang valid deductive argument can also be described as sound and unsound. No? Pagka meron siyang true premises, is said to be valid, said to be sound. Sorry. Ulitin ko lang. A valid deductive argument with true premises is said to be sound. Pero a deductive argument which is invalid or has one or more false premises or both is said to be unsound. Okay, so may mga cases kasi na yung argument ay valid. Kasi yung conclusion niya is based on the premises, no? So logically correct siya. Kaya valid siya. Pero kaya siya sound, no? Pero kung halimbawa may mali siya sa isang premises, pero yung conclusion niya possible pa ring maging valid, kaya lang unsound siya, no? Unsound kasi kung may false doon sa kanyang premises. Okay, so here's a simple guide para ma-determine yung yung deductive reasoning is valid or invalid, sound or unsound. Pag valid plus true yung premises, sound siya. Pag valid but at least one false premise, unsound. No? Of course, invalid ay unsound. Okay, so let's check this example. Deductive reasoning. Ito yung alam niyo na ano lang, na-amaze lang ako dito sa illustrations ng deductive reasoning. Kaya kinapi ko 'to from my reference materials, 'no. Okay, so supposed to be, meron tayong premise 1, all oranges are fruits. Premise 2, all fruits grow on trees. And therefore, ito yung conclusion, all oranges grow on trees, 'no. So, yung valid yung ating logically, valid yung ating conclusion at yung true yung premises, 'no, 'di ba? So, we call this deductive reasoning as valid and sound deductive reasoning, okay? Alright, so Johnny is a bachelor. All bachelors are single, hence Johnny is single. So, unless may kokontra diyan, so meron ba kayong comment about this, 'no? This is an example of valid and sound, 'di ba? Deductive reasoning. 'Yan, 'no? Tama naman, 'di ba? Okay. So, more illustrations, ayan. Premise 1, noble gases are stable, 'di ba true 'yan? Premise 2, neon is a noble gas. So, I hope you still remember your chemistry. So, anong conclusion mo? Neon is stable. So, take note that hindi pwedeng maging false yung conclusion, no? Because the premises are true. And so, this is dahil puro true yung premises saka yung conclusion. So, valid and sound argument siya, no? Okay. Another example, you may also call the premises as major and minor premises, no? So, ito yung major premise, all mammals are animals. True ba yan? Minor premise, all elephants are mammals. True yan, di ba? So, anong conclusion? All elephants are animals. So, meron kayang elephants na hindi animals? Kasi 'di ba, we're trying to analyze if the statement is true. Okay, eto, the following examples are valid pero unsound siya, 'no? Okay, so i-check natin. All flight attendants know how to swim, 'no? Requirement 'to 'di ba sa mga gustong maging flight attendants kasi alam ko meron akong cousin na gano'n, flight attendant siya sa Cebu. Cebu Pacific, sorry. Ralph knows how to swim. Edi siyempre ang conclusion mo, Ralph is a flight attendant, 'no? So, may question dun sa conclusion, 'di ba? So we can see that the conclusion is untrue because it is not necessary that only flight attendants know how to swim. So absolutely any swimmer can swim, no? Hindi yung flight attendant lang. Yan. Okay? So valid yung conclusion natin pero yung argument, the whole argument ay false because of the conclusion that is untrue. More examples about valid and unsound argument. If Superman actually exists, then at least one superhero is real. Well, that's if then, no? Okay, ito yung second statement or premise. Superman actually exists. May question na yan. At least one superhero is real. So, yun yung conclusion. Diba? So, yung first premise is true, pero yung second premise is false. Because there is no Superman, no? So, the above argument is valid but unsound, no? Naku, hindi pala nag-e-exist si, yung aking paboritong Superman. Yan. Sino nga ulit yun? Nakalimutan ko yung pangalan. Ayan, if the moon is made of green cheese, squirrels are mammals. Second statement, the moon is green cheese, therefore squirrels are mammals. Eto din, no? The argument is valid, but it is not sound because the second premise is false. Ito yung false, yung second. May isa pa. All birds can fly. Penguins are birds. So, therefore, penguins can fly. So, logically valid na naman, no? Kasi yung conclusion natin, binase do sa given na statement. Kaso may false na statement. Yan. Yung, all birds can fly, no? Kasi hindi naman lahat ng birds ay can fly. So, making the argument unsound. Yan. So, siguro ngayon kayang-kaya niyo nang ma-determine kung valid siya pero unsound, no? Valid and sound, valid and unsound, no? Pero siyempre kung invalid na siya from the very beginning, malalaman niyo din kasi kung puro false yung statement. Ayan. Okay, syllogism. I mentioned this a while ago and it's a kind of the deductive reasoning, no? Ang deductive reasoning kasi sobrang dami ng forms niya o types or classifications and that we cannot discuss all of them. So nag-focus ako sa isang pinaka-popular na form niya which is syllogism. Pero yung syllogism din, meron din siyang maraming forms. So ang sinama ko na lang sa ating discussion ay yung common forms, no? Yung palaging nagagamit na form. Okay, so syllogism is a form of deductive reasoning where you arrive at a specific conclusion by examining two other premises or ideas or hypothesis, no? Yung mismong word na syllogism is derived from the word syllogismos, meaning conclusion or inference. Yan. It has three parts, no? Two premises or hypothesis and a conclusion. And the premises give us information from which we form conclusion. Now, if the conclusion follows from the premises, it's called valid syllogism. If not, it is called invalid. Okay, so these are the parts, no, of syllogism. Yung major term. The major term is the predicate term of the conclusion. And the minor term is the subject term of the conclusion. Okay, so mapansin niyo yung major at saka minor term, ito na yung kompletong part ng conclusion. May subject at saka predicate, no? Pero may middle term, no? The term repeated in the premises but not in the conclusion. And these are the premises, the major premise, the premises that contains the major term, and the minor premise, the premise that contains the minor term. Of course, for you to understand this better, let me show you an example or illustration. Okay, so kung ito yung major premise natin, major premise, all mammals are animals with hearts. No? Minor premise, all dogs are mammals. Conclusion, all dogs are animals with hearts. Okay? So, kung dalawa ang connotations nito animals with hearts, may puso, o yung may magandang puso. Yan, okay. So, okay na. So, ano yung major premise, no? Yung major premise ay it contains the major term, no? Yung predicate, ito yung predicate niya, Yung predicate na yon ay makikita ninyo sa conclusion and you will call it major term, no? So, predicate din siya sa conclusion. Yun namang minor premise, meron siyang all dogs na subject, no? At yung subject na yon, you can also find it in the conclusion as a subject also. And it will be called the minor term. No? So, in short, the predicate of the major term and the subject of the minor, mali ako. The predicate of the major premise and the subject of the minor premise ay can be found in the conclusion, no? And they will be called minor term and the major term. Yung yung middle term are the terms that can be found only in the major premise and the minor premise. So doon lang siya magre-repeat, no? So yun yung middle term. Yan. Ang most common types of syllogisms, dalawa lang yung iti-discuss ko. Universal syllogisms at saka particular syllogisms, no? Yung universal syllogisms ay tinatawag na universal because they use the words that apply completely and totally, no? Such as no, none, all, and only. And it has two classifications din, no? So, puro may mga subtypes. Ayan. Universal affirmative at saka universal negative. Yan. Okay. So, obvious naman pagka affirmative, no? 'Di ba? Oh, sige. Ang kagandahan dito yung syllogisms, may pattern siya palagi, no? And you will be guided by the patterns, no? For example, yung universal affirmative, all A are B, all C are A, so all C are B, no? But before we proceed to example, i-check muna natin yung mga parts, no? Yung major premise natin, 'di ba, ito yung nagdadala ng teka, hanap tayo ng makulay. At yung predicate na magiging major term sa conclusion. Ayan, oh. Tapos yung minor premise, nasa kanya yung subject na magiging subject din ng conclusion and magiging minor term. No? Tapos ito yung middle term. Yan, oh. Yan. Okay? So, the parts are positioned correctly based doon sa dapat na maging pattern ng syllogism. No? Okay, so examine natin tong example. All mammals or animals, no? Ito ang nire-represent ng all A, R, B. All elephants are animals. Ito yung all C, R, A. Okay? Therefore, all elephants are animals. So, all C, R, B. Okay, so tama ba ang positioning ng mga parts? No? Tama naman, di ba? Yung mammals ang middle term, yung animals ang predicate, major term, elephants or all elephants ang subject o minor term. Yan. Okay. Now, another example. All people who work on the front line against COVID-19 should get a priority of access to the vaccines. Yan. Okay, yung basahin ko po na lahat. All nurses are people who work on the front line against COVID-19. Therefore, all nurses should get the priority of access to the vaccine. So, ang haba nito ang ako nag-imbento nitong example na to. Okay. So, hati-hatiin natin yung mga parts. Hati-hatiin daw yung mga parts. Okay, yung all people who work on the front line against COVID-19, siya yung A, 'di ba? And yung namang should get a priority access to the vaccine, siya yung B. And you can find it in the conclusion, no? Ito yun, no? Yan. Should get priority, the priority of access to the vaccines. Yung all nurses, siya naman yung C, no? And C is the subject of the conclusion or the minor term. Tapos yung people who work on the front line against COVID-19, siya yung A na nakikita lang sa minor premise at saka sa major premise saka minor premise. Yan. Okay. This is the pattern for universal negative, no? No A, R, B, all C, R, A, so no C, R, B, no? Inspect ulit natin yung mga parts. Yung B ay major term, yung C ay minor term, at yung A ay middle term. So that's easier to analyze, no? Okay, so i-check natin ang example. No mammals are frogs. So ito yung no A, R, B. And all elephants are mammals. All C are A. So tama ba ang positions? Therefore, no C are B or therefore no elephants are frogs. Tama, di ba? No A are B, all C are A, therefore no C are B. Okay. So let's make use of the same pattern dito sa second example. No teachers are lazy. So yun yung no A or B. All mathematicians are teachers. Therefore, no mathematicians are lazy. Oh, dali lang, di ba? Madali kasi merong may pattern, no? Ang suggestion ko, gumawa kayo ng table na ililista nyo yung patterns, no? Halimbawa, sa unang table, universal affirmative, no? Tapos universal negative, UN. Kasi yung susunod, particular affirmative, tapos particular negative. Tapos isulat nyo dito yung pattern, no? Para for easy reference. Yan. Ito naman yung particular syllogisms, no? They use the words like some or most instead of all or none. Diba? And there are also two main types of this, particular affirmative din, tsaka particular negative. Yan. Okay, sa particular affirmative, ito naman yung kanyang pattern, no? All A, R, B, some C, R, A, therefore some C, R, B. So kahit nakikita nyo, iba-iba yung ginagamit ng mga phrases, no? Ay makikita ninyo, the parts are consistently positioned. Yan. Ayan. Okay? So, as an example, we have all elephants have big ears, no? Ito yung all A, R, B. Some animals are are elephants, so yun yung A. Therefore, some animals, some CRB, no? Some animals have big ears. So, I'm also checking kasi baka mamaya sumablay ako eh. Yan. And then, ito ako na naman nag-imbento basta ganyan kahaba. All registered voters are property owners. So, ito yung A at tapos ito yung B, no? A. And then we have B. Some new residents in the neighborhood, this is C, no? Are registered voters. So, this is A. Okay? Therefore, some new residents in the neighborhood. So, ito yung C natin. C. Tapos, are property owners. That's the B. May tanong ba? So, ang kagandahan kasi dito, may pattern. Ang dali niyang mahanap. Yan. Ito naman ang particular negative. No A, R, B, some C, R, A, therefore some C are not B. Okay, so checking the parts. Okay, middle term. Tapos we have the minor term. Yan. So, though ARB, though doctors are children, some CRA, some immature people are doctors. Therefore, some C are not B, or therefore, some immature people are not children. Example, though humans are immortal, some organisms are immortal, therefore, some organisms aren't humans. Ay, wala na pala. Last na pala yon. Okay, so in the PDF copy, oo, kasi alam nyo, pinutol ko na 'to, sobrang haba kasi ng syllogism, tapos yung deductive reasoning. Ang importante kasi yung basic forms ang matutunan natin, 'no? Unless gusto nating maging, ano nga ito, philosopher, kailangan nating i-touch lahat yung mga types na yun, 'no? Pero hindi na kailangan. Basic information lang. Okay, so after this class, may tanong ba muna kayo bago ako magbigay ng announcement? Wala? O, di pwede ko na 'tong i-close, 'no? Yan. Okay, so habang nagpe-prepare kayo para sa together mode, ang announcement ko, yung assignment number 2 ninyo will be posted after this class, 'no? So abang-abangan niyo lang mamayang konti. Ako kasi ay tatakbo kaagad dahil dito sa salamin na 'to, 'no, na walang handle. Yan, walang gano'n. Kasi putol, 'no? Oo, ay papaayos ko lang, naputol. Ngayon, i-a-upload ko yung assignment number 2. Yung assignment number 2 ninyo, ang content nun ay yung mathematics in nature, ano pa, sets, set theory, logic, tsaka yung etong last part, problem solving, tsaka yung deductive and inductive reasoning. Nag-iisip pa ako, gutom na teacher. Yeah. Please join me in the together mode, ha? Picture-picture tayo. Yes, Miss De Jesus.
May question lang po ako regarding po sa midterms. Mag-top exam po ba kayo?
Ano ulit, Iha? Hindi
Midterms
masyadong
po, ma'am.
regarding?
Regarding po sa midterm.
Okay. Okay. Wait lang, ha? Sandali. Okay, so tapusin ko muna yung assignment that will be uploaded a little later. Okay, yung content nung assignment number 2 ninyo ay ano, yun din ang content ng long quiz 1 ninyo that will be given next week. Okay? During our orientation, yung first day orientation natin, I did not mention na meron tayong midterm. So wala tayong midterm, Miss Iha, ano nga ulit ang pangalan mo?
Sige po.
Nawala agad. Oo. So, sadyang wala tayong midterm exams, ang meron lang tayo ay final examinations. At saka 3 long quizzes, 'no? So, ito yung long quiz ninyo sa susunod na week. So, sa November 14, you will take your long quiz. Ngayon, para hindi kayo masyadong mahirapan, yung assignment number 2 ninyo ay ano siya, parang reviewer nyo siya. So, you have to answer it religiously or seriously. Ayan. Kasi, yung content doon ay parehong-pareho ng type ng long quiz 1 o type tama, parehong-pareho yung halimbawa may true or false, may multiple choice. So parang nagpa-practice kayo ng ano, na mag-take ng long quiz 1 online, no? So in short, your long quiz 1 will be online, no? O, smile muna kayo. Yan, okay? So kung ipo-post ko muna, halo-halo sinasabi. So walang midterm exams, ha? Long quizzes lang, tsaka final exam. Oh, tuwang-tuwa si Miss Plaza. Okay. Okay, so may tanong ba kayo regarding the long quiz 1, which will be given next week? Wala na? Oh, basta ang ano lang ay kailangan ninyong mag-practice, mag-solve ng assignment para pagdating sa long quiz 1 di na kayo maninibago, no? Pareho yung format niya, no? Oh, katulad ng sinabi ko, may true or false, may multiple choice, no? Meron ding portion doon na you will be asked to determine if as a given item is well-defined or not well-defined, o kaya deductive or inductive reasoning, no? So may gano'n. Doon sa assignment nyo. Pero yung assignment naman ninyo isang linggo nyo halos gagawin yun Kaya ano, mapa-practice nyo siya ng todo bago kayo mag-take ng long quiz 1. Okay? Wala na kayong tanong? Good luck, good luck. Maglalagay ako ng announcement mamayang konti, ha? Bye-bye! Mag-lunch na tayo. At saka ako ay tatakbo pa nga dun sa EO.